This is brought to you by Cloud with Shad. Imagine managing multiple offices and servers across Accra, Lagos, and London. You need to know exactly what is happening, right? Who did what, which resources are actually compliant, and you have to ensure operations run smoothly. Well, AWS Monitoring and Management Services help you do exactly this. Now, this specific domain focuses strictly on cloud technology and services. Normally, mastering this whole monitoring, management, and governance section takes, about 4 to 5 hours of study time. But don't worry, we're going to simplify all of that down into this quick, easy-to-digest explainer. Here's a quick look at our agenda. We'll be covering the eyes and ears, auditing and enforcing compliance, managing daily operations, corporate governance and structure, automating best practices, and finally, practical scenarios in action. Section 1. The eyes and ears, seeing what happens in your cloud. Okay, let's dive right into this first department. You see, every single business needs performance trackers and security cameras to know exactly what's happening on the ground. And a very common confusion for beginners is the difference between AWS CloudWatch and AWS CloudTrail. So think of it like this. CloudWatch is your performance monitor. It focuses entirely on how your resources are performing, like say how much memory a specific server is using. CloudTrail, on the exact other hand, is your audit camera. It meticulously records who made an API call, what they actually did, and exactly when they did it. Let's look a bit closer at Amazon CloudWatch. It really relies on a few core features. First up, we have metrics. These are essentially just data points about your services, like checking the CPU usage on an EC2 server or looking at your bucket size in S3. Next are alarms. Think of a CloudWatch alarm kind of like a fire alarm in your Lagos office. When a specific metric hits a danger zone, the alarm triggers an automatic response to fix it. Pretty cool, right? CloudWatch also handles logs, which gives you centralized storage for all your system records, and it integrates seamlessly with EventBridge to react to real-time system events. Section 2. Auditing and enforcing compliance. Keeping the rules. So now that we have our eyes and ears set up, we absolutely need a compliance officer for our West African business network, just to ensure we're actually following all the required standards. Enter AWS Config. Config is essentially a configuration inventory and compliance checker. Imagine a strict health inspector walking through your offices. Config uses what's called AWS Managed Rules to constantly check your setup. If it finds a violation, like maybe an unencrypted hard drive, it immediately flags it as non-compliant. And the absolute best part, it can even trigger an automatic fix, also known as a remediation, to correct the problem right there on the spot. Section 3. Managing daily operations. Running the network. All right, so we've got our monitors and our compliance inspectors. Now we need to handle the actual day-to-day operations and central management of our 3-city business network. To do this at a really large scale, we use AWS Systems Manager. Think of this tool as a massive central intercom system. By using its features, you can manage thousands of servers securely. Session Manager lets you log in without dealing with messy security keys. Run command allows you to send remote updates to servers in Accra, Lagos, and London simultaneously, without you ever having to physically travel there. Then there's Patch Manager, which automates software fixes, and Parameter Store, which acts as a highly secure vault for things like your database passwords and secrets. Now, a huge part of daily operations is knowing if there's an actual outage somewhere. It is super important to understand the difference between your health dashboards here. The Service Health Dashboard is a public page. It shows the general status of all AWS services globally. But the Personal Health Dashboard, that one is specifically tailored to you. It alerts you if an AWS event is directly impacting your specific resources. Oh, and one more thing while we're talking about managing operations. If you bring external software from vendors like Microsoft or Oracle into AWS, you'll use a tool called AWS License Manager to track those licenses and prevent any compliance violations. Section 4, Corporate Governance and Structure, Setting the Foundation. Let's shift gears a bit and visit Corporate HQ. This is where the overarching rules, the billing, and the structures for all the branch offices are set and enforced. AWS Organizations is exactly how you centrally manage multiple AWS accounts. You've got the root at the very top, which breaks down into organizational units, or OUs. Just think of these as your branch departments. Inside those OUs are member accounts for the individual offices. Now, to keep everyone safe, corporate uses SCPs, or Service Control Policies. These are basically strict guardrails. For example, an SCP can ensure that a lower-level development account absolutely cannot launch incredibly expensive unapproved services. It's a real lifesaver for your budget. Now, what's really interesting about this next tool is just how much time it saves. A really powerful tool for this corporate structure is AWS Control Tower. If AWS Organizations provides the basic building blocks, Control Tower is the pre-packaged corporate starter kit. It uses what are called landing zones to instantly deploy a secure, multi-account environment with AWS best practices and automated guardrails already built right in. It literally saves you from having to build the entire corporate structure from scratch. Section 5, Automating Best Practices, Working Smarter. So, we have all our rules in place. Next, we want to introduce tools that give our employees some autonomy while still keeping the business safe, secure, and financially optimized. AWS Service Catalog is absolutely fantastic for this. It acts as a self-service portal. Let's say your developers in Accra need to test out a new application. Instead of waiting days for IT admin approval, they can simply log into the Service Catalog and launch a pre-approved application stack themselves. It's totally safe because IT has already configured all the rules and costs behind the scenes. And to ensure you're always working smarter, you have AWS Trusted Advisor. Think of this as your very own automated consultant. It constantly checks your entire account against 5 key categories: cost optimization, performance, security, fault tolerance, and service limits. It will literally tell you if you are wasting money or if you have a glaring security gap. And as a quick side note here, if your company realizes they just lack the in-house expertise to manage all of this, you can always use AWS Managed Services, where actual AWS experts will step in and completely operate your infrastructure for you. Section 6, Practical Scenarios in Action, Bringing it Together. All right, we've covered a lot of ground today. It's time to pull all these concepts together and see how they interact in some real-world practical examples. Imagine it's a super busy Monday and one of your servers in London gets completely overwhelmed. Step 1, CPU usage aggressively spikes past our safe threshold. Step 2, because we set it up earlier, a CloudWatch alarm instantly triggers. Step 3, that alarm sends a signal directly to Systems Manager, which then automatically runs a remote script to fix the issue or maybe just restart the application. And just like that, the overwhelmed server is saved without a single human ever having to intervene. How amazing is that? Let's look at another scenario. Step 1, an unauthorized user accidentally deletes a really important S3 storage bucket. Yikes. Step 2, our security camera, CloudTrail, meticulously audits the exact API call, logging exactly who did it and exactly when. Step 3, our health inspector, AWS Config, immediately records the configuration change, also known as drift, flagging the system as non-compliant so your security teams can instantly investigate and restore the data. Let's bring this all home now. Think of AWS monitoring and management like running a network of businesses in West Africa. CloudWatch monitors performance, CloudTrail audits actions, Config ensures compliance, Systems Manager manages operations, and governance tools ensure rules, structure, and optimized cost. So, with all these amazing tools at your disposal, how are you going to structure and protect your very first cloud network? Start exploring these services, and I promise, you'll be managing resources globally in no time. This is brought to you by Cloud with Shad.